Our first guest tonight is an Emmy-winning actress you know from shows like Designing Women, Fargo, Mayor of Easttown, and Watchmen. She stars in Hacks, which is streaming now on Max. Please welcome back to the show our friend Jean Smart, everybody. It is so lovely to have you back.
Thank you.
So classy. Look at you.
Well, it took a village.
It's been a while since we've been here in person. We talked once. We got to Zoom once during the pandemic.
That was a Zoom.
That was a Zoom. But seeing you in person is really lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You too.
I've had a kid since you last saw me. Do you know that?
You know, somebody asked me the other day if you had kids, and I said,
Why did they ask you?
I don't. I don't know. And I said, I don't know. I assume so, but I don't know. And somebody said, oh, yeah, he has 3 kids. I said, oh, yeah. So the third one must have come after I saw you.
Yeah, the last time I saw you, I got real frisky.
Were you pregnant?
Even on Zoom.
were you pregnant when I saw you?
I think so.
Because you've gotten your boyish figure back. Are your kids at that point now where they, like, just take everything you say literally?
Oh, yeah, it's the worst.
It's hilarious.
You know what? The worst one for me is, like, I'll be like, give me a sec, and they all go, 1.
Yeah, or you say, I'm going to jump in the shower. Oh, no, don't do that. Yeah. One time when my oldest was, I don't know, I guess about 5, and he and his friend were playing in the backyard, and I didn't think there was any way humanly possible for them to get out of the yard. There just was no way. And I was in the house with the other boy's mother and his baby brother, and they disappeared. They just disappeared. It was one of those horrible moments.
Oh, that's awful.
Never happened to you, and your heart stops. And pretty soon I had the whole neighborhood out. I'd called the police. I'd called the local supermarket down the street because he liked to go there. And I was crawling through bushes thinking, don't panic, don't panic.
I know, but yeah.
This has happened to other people, and they've never seen their kid again, you know. So finally, just as the cops pull up, the boys show up, climbing over this fence I didn't think they could get over. And the other kid saw the cops and was like, ah! And my son was like, hi. And I'm like this. And I said to the policeman, there's 2 young, lovely police officers, a girl and a guy, and I said, please talk to him, you know. So he's saying, you know, you really scared your mom, you know, why? Well, she didn't know where you were. She thought you might run into a bad guy or something. He goes, oh, no, we saw one guy, but he wasn't a bad guy. Okay, so fine. Anyway, so later that night I said, so how did you know that man you talked to wasn't a bad guy? Well, he didn't have one of those little black masks on.
I mean, foolproof.
Mom's really good at stranger danger talk, you know?
That's right, you gave him a talk. You're like, if you're wearing one of those raccoon masks, stay away. So you came to New York at a fairly young age to pursue acting.
Oh, no, I was over the hill compared to most.
Were you really when you came?
When I came to New York?
Yeah.
I was in my late 20s.
Okay, yeah, that is a little bit later.
Now it seems really young.
Yeah, of course. Everything. Oh yeah, what I wouldn't give for 27. Whew. But what were your early days of auditioning in New York City like? Well,
I know one audition where I swear I'd never do it again. I never auditioned for a commercial after that. I was auditioning for a commercial for laundry detergent or something. I have no idea what it was. And I had to pretend to be, without a costume, 2 of us, who had person I'd never met before, I had to pretend to be the hind end of a horse. For some I blocked it out.
I will say the only thing worse than being the back of a pantomime horse is being it without the horse costume.
Yeah, yes, exactly. It was. But then I would go through the trades and I'd look for, you know, auditions that were close to where I was staying because I knew I could find them. That's how I based my choices of audition material.
You were a real bumpkin. I mean, New York is like scary, but it's like a grid system. It's not hard to get around.
Well, I discovered that. But yeah, so I found this one. I had all these parts for women, and I thought, oh, this is great. I'll go to this one. It's near my friend's apartment. So I went, and I walked in, and it was somebody's apartment. It was just, you know, it wasn't an audition space. And there was a gal sitting there, and she had on overalls and a little leather cap that came down to here and hot pink hair out here and a couple of nose rings. And I'm thinking, Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore. and so I auditioned for that play, and I got the lead, and we started rehearsing. And then the playwright's manager called and said to the director, "Who are you and why are you doing my client's play?" Because she didn't even get the rights to the play. She thought, "Oh, it'll be fun to direct a play about lesbians." You know, I'm a lesbian, this will be fun, you know? And I thought, oh, wow. I thought, oh, okay. So, but the gal was great. She said, but you know what? My client has another play that's never been done. It's been sitting in a drawer for years. She's never even heard it read out loud. It's called Last Summer at Bluefish Cove, and you can have that one.
Really?
So she cast me in that, and it made my whole career.
Did it really?
Yeah.
That play, The Apartment.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a terrible lesson to kids. Like, go to weird apartments. Talk to people who have none of the rights to the work. I have a lot of questions about the wonderful season of Hacks. We'll be right back with more Gene after this.